Hey girls, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna do a Victoria's Secret inspired look. If you guys watch any of my videos, you know this is like my whole aesthetic. I love pink, French tips, spray tan, glossy lips, glitter on the eyes, and that's exactly what Victoria's Secret Angel is. I have been obsessed with them since I was little. I can literally remember the first time that I saw a Victoria's Secret magazine. It was such a gorgeous show. I genuinely almost cried. Like I had tears in my eyes multiple times during that. I felt very overwhelmed, very just like happy, honestly, to be like who I am and be a woman. So I did this beautiful Victoria's Secret glam, full coverage, glossy lips, lots of stuff on the eyes, big lashes, black wing. So if you guys want to get ready with me and just feel the girly vibes, let's get into it. Brows are already carved out and I want to go in with skin prep first. I feel like by letting your skin prep set in while you do your eyes, girl, your base is going to look so good. So I always do lip balm, always. Check back on every single one of my videos I've ever uploaded. I have something on my lips every single video. This is the Phyto Glow lip balm in the shade Petal from Naturium. It's a very thick lip balm, very glossy, but I have very pale lips and this gives me like a little bit of oomph so I don't look dead in the lips. You know what I mean? Because my lips are very naturally pale, you know that. This is such a pretty moisturizer, literally gives you instant glass skin. I actually use this at night. It is that good that you can use it as like an overnight moisturizer. And I just wanted that glow for today as well. And then we're gonna do some eye patches. I feel like all the girlies while getting ready backstage at Victoria's Secret had eye patches on. I feel like eye patches are very controversial. I never know if it's like this part that goes on the inside or if it's supposed to be flipped around. But you know what? As long as it gets on my under eye, that's all that matters. These are actually supposed to like brighten over time. Period. Oh, they feel so nice and cooling and they're pink. So this is how I like to start my eye looks. I have been loving this as an eyeshadow base. This is the Dior Forever Skin Correct Concealer. This is in the shade 0.5N. So many people love this under their eyes. I do not, but I do love it unset as a eyeshadow primer. It's like the perfect amount of sticky. I don't know how to describe it. It's perfect and it doesn't crease. So we're starting off with a super fluffy brush. This is from Morphe, the M504. This is a must-have brush. You can get it at Ulta. You need it. It is like a huge transition brush. When you guys get this brush, just know this will be like your new go-to transition brush for everything. So I'm gonna kind of wrap it up here and bring it out towards my temples. This is the Jordana Tisha bronzer in the shade Gilded Sands. I recommend using a bronzer that you normally use on your face just because it's a really soft first layer and it's not too intense. Now to start deepening the look, I have not been able to put down this Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette. This is the dramatic version. So I'm gonna take the shades W1 and Y3, so the shade right here and right here, on a smaller natural hair brush. This is the M441. I do love Morphe's original eyeshadow brushes. They do shed a little, but there is just nothing like them in my opinion. Now, as you can see, I only place the eyeshadow at the tip of the brush and I'm going to stamp it. Literally stamp like this, push, and do small little swirls to kind of diffuse that color, but really keeping it in the outer corner. Based off of my inspo pics, it's very outer corner heavy. I feel like this look reminds me of a wing. That's why I love it so much, like an actual angel wing, Victoria's Secret angel. It all just kind of comes together and makes sense. Doing the same thing to the other side. This is going to be very simple, but it's gonna look like you took a lot of time. So it's gonna be like a smoky but controlled eye, a smoky controlled wing. Also, another thing that you guys will probably notice is it is going to look very similar to a lot of the eye looks that I normally do because I have always wanted to be a Victoria's Secret angel ever since I was little. I mean, look at my aesthetic, the way that I talk, the way that I do my nails, my pink heart, everything. I have just always wanted and wished to be ultra girly like that, so it just makes sense. With these eyeshadow looks, it's all about building up the depth until you get to the darkest color. So now I'm gonna take this shade right here, W3, and then we're gonna go into N1, which is that very deepest one on a smaller brush, but I feel like I have to build up the colors beneath first so that way when we do that dark neutral brown shade on the very outer corner, it looks nice and blended and smoky. And you guys, this eyeshadow palette is so buttery. I feel like I go back and forth in my head between using new products every single video because there's so many new launches, and like I'm blessed to be able to receive PR. I feel like I want to share it with you guys. But at the same time, I know a lot of you girls like to see me use the same thing over again because that way you know I love it and you literally see me using it and loving it. Because I feel like sometimes people might think you're boring if you keep using the same products over and over again, or they think you're falling behind on trends because you're not using like the newest stuff. But at the same time, I like what I like. You know what I mean? And sometimes it is hard for me to like put down my face. Remember, I used this in the last tutorial. I love this Patrick Ta Duo eyeshadow brush for very detailed work. I mentioned that this is not something that I would use as like a transition shade brush at all, but I'm gonna dip into now N1, which is like this deep, deep chocolatey brown shade. And this is going to stay the most controlled out of all the colors. This one I'm really gonna stamp and do the smallest little wiggles to blend it out because again, I don't want this eyeshadow look to be smoky, but I do want it to be blended. Let's go back in. I mixed a little bit of that W3 shade too, just to add a little bit of warmth. Keep it on the outer corner. Oh, and I grabbed a new silver mirror. If you guys can see, you know, normally I use my pink mirror, but I just feel like silver and pink is so Victoria's Secret. I'm a very much a gold girl. Like the jewelry that I wear all the time is gold, but I put on silver earrings today and I'm like, let me get some silver accessories because I feel like that is very Victoria's Secret coded. I always tell you guys this, but my biggest piece of advice if you're just learning how to do wing liner is to use a brush and an eyeshadow. So first, I always start by stamping on the wing. I never bring the eyeshadow brush all the way in the inner corner. I use a liquid liner for that just because it creates a sharper look and I like that better. And then I'm just going to flick out the end. Okay, then I'm gonna take this MCO Beauty winged liner. This is winged liner, and this MCO Beauty pen. This is so black. I've actually never used it before. And wow, this is a felt tip liner. Usually these dry out faster than any other sort of liners, but wow, this is so matte, so black. I love this. Later on, we're gonna kind of mess with that as well. Then I'm gonna take a deep brown shade, the deep brown shade that we were actually using in the crease on a flat shader brush like this. And I'm gonna kind of use that to diffuse the very, very top of the wing. This is also a necessity that I think you need if you guys are just starting out eyeshadow or if you love to do eyeshadow, the M506. This is a tiny blending brush. So just think like the brushes that we were using earlier. This is the mini version of it. And it's very, very nice for detailed work. So I'm just gonna dip into the darkest shades that we were using right on top of that winged liner and right in the outer corner. I'm just gonna kind of try to build this color up and mesh the two together to the point that the wing almost disappears like into my outer corner. We're gonna use that to set down the brow bone because we did carve out my eyebrows earlier and also my lid because at this point I do not have any eyeshadow on my lid. I only have that Dior concealer. So however it's set down naturally, that is what it's looking like. And right on top of the wing, I'm going to wiggle back and forth and bring it in my outer corner. So kind of like shimmy back and forth and bring it up, shimmy back and forth and bring it up. I don't know why I find black liner so much scarier than brown. I feel like brown is so much more forgiving. So I just had to do it off camera, but I connected the inner corner of my wing liner to the outer corner. Now I'm gonna take a gel liner. This is waterproof and I'm going to tight line the top. Gel waterproof liner and tight line the upper waterline. This makes such a difference, especially if you want like a really, really smoky look. I'm going to apply some mascara, but I'm actually going to do waterproof. So this is the L'Oreal Panorama. 2 coats of the mascara. This is what it looks like. It is looking a little chunky, but I got the prettiest lashes. So I feel like it's going to cover it up. It doesn't matter. Got some new lashes at the store yesterday. Still on the hunt to find good lashes. I am in this phase of my life where I cannot find lashes that I like. So I actually did like these. These are the style Legacy from the Kiss the Muse collection. I got it because the packaging was cute, but they actually are very pretty lashes. Normally I cut them in half and use them on the outer corners, but I also picked up these from Kiss as well. I love Kiss lashes. This is from the Lash Couture collection in the style Velvet. Look how pretty those are, and they like flare out at the very ends. Lashes, I end up doing the Kiss ones, like the more flirty ones, so not these ones, and I love them. I actually cut them a little bit more than half, I would say about 3/4, glued them on. Well, now we need to kind of go over the top of our eyes. This is so important. Also, I did clean up with a little makeup wipe the edges of my eyeshadow. Especially when you do half lashes, you have to kind of fill in the gaps and even everything out with eyeshadow or eyeliner afterwards. Otherwise, it's going to be very obvious that you're wearing a half lash. I just had to get up and wash my hands because I have so much black eyeshadow all over them. But we're going to add a little bit of my Space Cowboy from Urban Decay right where the dark and light part of my eyeshadow meets. So right here. And I'm literally going to bring it up into my brow. I'm not kidding. I don't know if you guys can see that. Hopefully you can see it on camera. But in person, keeping like a controlled shimmer like this is so pretty, and I feel like it just looks so glam. Okay, now we can move into a base. My skin looks so hydrated and glow, you guys. I'm telling you, this Bioma Hydrating Milky Moisturizer, I just saw it in Ulta yesterday, so I know it's out. It's the best, and it's not greasy. Like, it's actually sank into my skin. It's a gorgeous formula. Now we're gonna go in with the iconic London Underglow blurring drops. I feel like this is Victoria's Secret coated. If you want your skin to look blurred and expensive, this is for you. It's not going to mattify your face, so especially if you guys have a dry skin, try out this iconic London Underglow blurring primer. It is magic, very luxurious, very luxe feeling primer. I don't necessarily mind about my pores showing. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like we're all human. We have pores, it's the name of the game. But if I can fill them in, especially my forehead lines, oh my gosh, I've been wanting to go back and get Botox, but I've been stopping myself because it's normal. I'm 26. And also I just like making emotions. Right at the end, while this primer is sinking in, it kind of turns into this velvety texture. I like to really push it in during this time, so that way it sinks into all of those like fine lines and pores. I think I'm gonna go in with this new Polite Society More Than a Pretty Face Skin Caring Foundation. Do you guys remember when this went viral on TikTok? Like this little egg thing? I could have sworn that this was a drugstore brand when I first saw like the packaging. But Polite Society is owned by Jared Blandino, which I believe that's his name. That is the old owner of Too Faced. So whenever I think of the Polite Society, I just think of Too Faced, to be honest. They send over 2 shades. This is the shade Light. We're gonna try it out. Is it supposed to be, let's see what it is. Long wear, transfer resistant, non-oxidizing. Next generation, long wearing, weightless pigment mimic real skin to quickly, completely cover, correct, and treat skin for comfortable convection. Girl, what? I don't know what the texture of this is supposed to be like, but I'm gonna use a sponge. Ooh. Oh, wow. Very pretty. Okay, it has a scent. I don't know what that scent is. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not good. I feel like when I think of, obviously, the owner, I think of how Too Faced smells. Like, everything smells like chocolate, so I was expecting it to smell like super sweet, but no. I think the whole thing about Polite Society, their whole gig, their whole vibe, is that everything is like clean and good for your skin, which is interesting because the packaging is super cute. And not to be a hater, but I feel like most of the time with clean brands, their packaging is boring. I like that the packaging on this is really cute, and the color, this has a scent to it, but I don't know what it is. It kind of smells like new backpacks. Remember when we were younger when we get new backpacks for school, or you just walk into Walmart, Target. That's what it kind of smells like. Oh, wow, that looks amazing. Let's pull out my It Cosmetics Love is the foundation brush that I got from my Ulta haul and apply a little bit on there. We're gonna use this to bring it down the neck. Bring it down the neck. You guys know that I self-tan, so I'm not joking when I say every single time I do my makeup, I'm a different color. I have to use different shades. So I always like to bring it down my neck, and then depending how the color is different on my face, I'll bring it on my chest too. I just feel like that's so important. And also, when have you ever seen a Victoria's Secret angel and her foundation doesn't match her body? It's impossible. It doesn't happen. Makeup Forever sent over these 2 new concealers. I have yet to try them, but should we just try them for fun? The top has a little tiny brush. Isn't that so cute? Genuinely don't think I would use that unless I was spot concealing. Urban Decay Quickie, they have a little brush on top like that as well. What shade is this? Oh my god, this smells like a matte concealer. 1R02. Makeup Forever shade naming is so stressful. They have so many numbers and letters, and like, can you just give us a cute name like Cream Puff? You know what I mean? Something like Cake. It says it's a full coverage 36-hour multi-use concealer. Whatever that means. I'm not gonna be wearing it for 36 hours, but let's see how it looks on the under eyes. I have been using a brush. Genuinely, this color looks really good. This concealer is stunning. Wow, it is so lightweight underneath the eyes, and the coverage on it. This is one of the best concealers I've used in a long time. Look at that. The coverage stays there. I feel like the concealers I have been using lately, the coverage almost kind of dissipates. Hello? This looks bomb. I do feel that it does kind of dry down fast, so keep that in mind. It's not too bad. It like dries down to a velvety finish, almost like self-setting. You guys, I have hiccups, so if you hear it, don't mind it. I just did a little bit of bronzer, but I wanted to show you guys I love this concealer. I love the doe foot applicator, the way that it applies. I'm actually gonna do a second layer. I did apply some of my Rare Beauty Happy Soul. This is like a gorgeous in-between bronzer contour shade. And then, of course, to add a little bit more like of a bombshell bronze, I did Jordana Tisha, the cream side, just to give a little bit more bronzer. I'm gonna blend out the second layer with my sponge so it all blends together. The hiccups, and I keep filming in between my hiccups, but the show must go on, so we're just gonna go forth. I've been loving this nose contour brush from e.l.f. It has like this angled side, and I just went into Jordana Tisha and kind of further enhanced that nose contour, so that way when we go in with our bronzer, like, we don't have to go overboard with the powder bronzer. We kind of already have it set down with the cream first. I feel like that is how you get your base to not look like super cakey, is just kind of lay down your creams first and make sure you get them how you want them to look first, and then you go in. Okay, so I'm gonna use my Huda Beauty Sugar Cookie Powder to bake underneath my eyes. I am genuinely fully in love with how this concealer looks, the Makeup Forever concealer, and I think that was the perfect shade. Lately, I've been going a little overboard with the brightness under my eyes, so I like that it kind of toned down a bit, and really push this powder into my under eyes, and you will see how it instantly transforms. This powder and the L'Oreal Infallible are my 2 favorites. They are just so smoothing and blurring. It genuinely looks like you have a filter on your face. I would say I have normal to combination, leaning a little oily in my T-zone. So I like that this powder kind of keeps the oils at bay. So I really like to push it in to my T-zone. And also I will never, ever, ever stop baking my under eyes, because I feel like that's the only way that I can get my concealer to look the same throughout the day. If I just go in with like a brush and a pressed powder, it is not going to work. Of course, going in and setting the center of my forehead as well. I love doing these looks because I love tailoring and like picking out the makeup products because I have a cat hair right on my nose. Right on my nose, I can feel it. But I love tailoring and picking out the makeup products like right before I do my makeup. It is so fun to me. I feel like Charlotte Tilbury is very Victoria's Secret coded. So I'm just gonna take this and kind of set further over the Huda Beauty, especially on my forehead and T-zone areas. Okay, I'm so excited to use this bronzer because so many people love this. This is the Polite Society Cabana Club Blurring Primer. They kind of sent over a deep shade, but I'm excited to use it because I'm pretty tan right now. So I feel like we can make it work. Packaging, come on. Even this, like, I love it. I love when brands do ultra girly or just like over the top stuff. This shade looks a little deep. Doesn't smell like anything. Oh, I wish it smelled like something, you guys. You don't understand that I need it to smell like something. Club Tropicana? Yeah, Club Tropicana. It kind of looks like it has a little bit of a sheen, but not too intense. I don't know how pigmented this is gonna be, so we're just gonna put it straight on our face. I think I need to go and get my Hoola bronzer by Benefit again. That is such a staple bronzer in my routine, and I haven't had it in forever just because I'm always trying new products. But this kind of looks similar to Hoola. Ooh, I kind of like that. Very pretty. It says it's blurring. Let's put it on the chin. Bring back my nose contour. And I do not like using any sort of like shimmery bronzers on my nose just because I like it to look matte. Even though there is nothing natural about this nose contour, I do like my nose contour to come across more matte than shiny. I have this new blush by Dibs in the shade Spice Gal, and this is gorgeous. This one does have a little bit of a sheen to it. Kind of reminds me of the MAC blushes, and this smells like chocolate. Cocoa powder, yum. I love it, love, love it. I think what I'm gonna do is just kind of like go around. I don't know how pigmented this is gonna be. Let's kind of do like a Nike swoop right here to bring the blush back. I want the blush to be very ethereal, very soft. I don't want it to be too heavy, or like you can point out that I have blush on my face. You know what I mean? Wow, my face is looking way too matte for my liking, so I'm gonna go in with the Scandinavia. This is like halfway gone. I love this so much. You can get it on Amazon, link to my Amazon storefront. It's kind of hard to get otherwise, but this is just one of the best. If you're a freelance makeup artist or a professional makeup artist, you know like Scandinavia is that girl. Oh my gosh, where's my fan? You guys, get a fan too. Get a fan. I have one linked in my Amazon storefront as well. This one's from the brand Colfi, but this will make doing your makeup so fun, especially doing your setting spray. I feel like a lot of the times, first of all, I love spraying setting spray. I love the feeling of just like locking something in on my face, but sometimes it does get overstimulating having like that wet feeling. So I was gonna say the sponge. The fan really helps with that and like gets it over really quick. Brows are on, and I added a little bit of highlighter down the bridge of my nose, the tip, and also the tops of my cheekbones. I use this Dior Universal palette. Love, love. Especially like this candy pink shade. So gorgeous. Taking my MAC Studio Fix powder and setting the inner corner, bringing it down towards my inner corner of my eye, cleaning up that nose contour and kind of connecting that whole space, if that makes sense. So all the space is kind of swooping together, and that looks very, very gorgeous to me. I do not like too much of like a completely bright under eye, but I think in this little inner corner here looks really nice and elevated. This is another reason why I love doing eyeshadow first, because once you're done with your face, you can kind of go back and build upon itself, which I love. I think a big tip that I can give you guys is just kind of work in sections with your makeup. And if you're ever getting frustrated with yourself, just know that you can move on to something else in your makeup and come back later. Like, it's not that big of a deal. That's why with my eyeshadow, I just like jump around between so many different things, because if I'm getting overstimulated, girl, it's not going to come out right anyway. So what's the point of stressing about it? I also took a little bit of this powder, and right here on the outer edge, I literally swooped straight underneath my wing and bring it all the way out towards my temples. My hair is going to be pretty big today, so you're most likely not going to see this for the most part, but I think adding that little touch is so fun and very, very ultra glam to me. When I think of glam, I think of like that really like snatched temple blush look, just like this. As of my last tutorial that really got me into doing eyeshadow again, I have been taking my transition shade. So literally just whatever is left on there. Sometimes it's a little too much. Whatever is left on there, I'll just take that right on my outer corner and connect it down into my blush. And that just does something to the look. Also, when I smile, I just feel like it looks so pretty and not as intense on my under eyes. Like I said, I can go pretty overboard with the powder and whatnot under my eyes. So I feel like this kind of tones it down. It also just brings everything back together. This looks very, very pretty. For lip liner, we're kind of going to do a concoction because I have so many different lip liners, but I do love my Makeup Forever Wherever Walnut. This is kind of always like my base starting lip liner. And then I think I'm going to go in with Makeup by Mario Smoky Pink. Barely have any left of this, but it's going to kind of add a little bit more contour, a little bit more dimension. That's what I'm looking for. So let's go in. I'm going to go in with this Wander lip cream from Milk Makeup. This shade is very similar to Kylie Coco K, but it's in like a lip gloss lip cream formula. We're gonna do a sparkly gloss topper because this shade is so gorgeous, but I love it for like the pink effect, not so much the glossiness, because I feel like if I layer too much of this, it looks a little scary. So I'm gonna go in and add this On the Dance Floor shade by Made by Mitchell. This is going to give me the gloss that I'm looking for and the sparkle. Look at that. Wow, this combo, hold on. A few finishing things that I always do that hopefully I remind you guys to do too is take off the lip gloss on the inner rim of your lip. That's when things start looking nasty, crepey, and you get like that white line throughout the day. So you can wear like a lot of lip products and a thick gloss without it getting like nasty in the center of your lip. So you can just kind of do that, and all that excess lip gloss will be on the inner rim of your finger. That is such like a good little tip to do. I'm sure you guys already knew that, but just in case you didn't. Second tip is to remove any like, I call them eye boogers, but like eye gunk, whatever, in the inner corner of your eyes. Because if you leave that there, that's just, I'm gonna say nasty, but like, girl, let's take care of ourselves. Let's make sure we remove that, especially because us glam girls like to wear a lot of mascara, eyeliner. Sometimes it can be black. You have black gunk on the inside of your eyes and a beautiful, gorgeous eye look, and that just ruins everything. Third thing, remove all of the setting spray and powder off of your jewelry, earrings, face, ears, especially if you're doing like a slick back. Make sure you take a makeup wipe and remove behind your behind your ears and on your ears all of that makeup, because it does look nasty. Okay, looks a little gross. Okay, I took down my rollers. I still have to play with the blowout a little. You know when you first have like a fresh blowout and you kind of have to like brush it through or whatever. I need to get some hairspray in here for sure, but I thought the little side part was so Victoria's Secret coded, you guys. There is something about a side part that is just like so sassy. I also wanted to share what fragrance I'm wearing because I feel like this is just like, it just adds to the whole aesthetic of everything. I went to the Kylie Jenner pop-up yesterday and I actually purchased the Kylie Cosmic 2.0, but they gave me the original one. So the Kylie Cosmic. This one isn't my favorite. I've actually talked about it before. I just sprayed it at you guys. So hopefully you guys can smell good too. This kind of reminds me of Japanese Cherry Blossom from Bath & Body Works, but you know what? it's growing on me. It's growing on me the more that I wear it. It smells very fruity, very girly. I feel like some people might classify this as like a little juvenile, but it does smell really good and flirty. It smells like one of those perfumes that you know that your man will love. There is something about like super sweet perfumes that I know men just love so much. I kind of feel that it lasts a decent amount of time too, which I'm very surprised by. I feel like a lot of the times with like celebrity owned perfume brands specifically, stuff just does not last long, but that actually lasts a decent amount of time. So oh, last thing before I go, I did end up adding a little bit of sparkle right in my brow bone. I feel like it was just missing a little bit of something up there, and that absolutely did it for me. Also, there is no way in hell this would have been possible. My hair, if I didn't get a bunch of layers and cut off like 3-4 inches, because my hair was so long. So shout out to my hairdresser for cutting my hair, and this just looks amazing. I'm feeling the vibes right now, and honestly, spraying that perfume really just put me in the mood. I'm telling you guys to do these extra little steps. It will make such a difference in your just like whole routine, how everything comes together. I love how this makeup came out. I think the eyes look so pretty. I love the big lashes and the black liner and the silver hoops. Everything just came together so cute and so nice. Listen to me, even if you think you're not into like Victoria's Secret and Victoria's Secret fashion shows and all that stuff, trust me, you will get some inspiration from it and you will feel so girly and ethereal. There is something so magical about those women walking that stage. It makes you absolutely so proud to be a woman. So trust me, put it on, watch it, do this makeup tutorial, and let me know what you guys are being for Halloween, because Halloween is coming up soon. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one.